The warning existed long before the war began. It was buried deep in sealed archives of the Galactic Council, written in plain language instead of proud speeches or complex laws. It said that humans were not the strongest species, nor the most advanced, but once they were attacked, they would never let go of their enemy. The warning was shared quietly between senior officials, and just as quietly ignored not far from the council halls, the alien coalition watched Earth with growing interest. Human space was rich in minerals and stable worlds, and their fleets appeared small compared to older empires. Many analysts believed humans were soft, too divided by culture and history to stand together for long. When scouts crossed into human territory and found no immediate response, the coalition leaders smiled and approved the next step. On Earth, Captain Kang De-il stood inside the command bridge of a patrol carrier, watching stars slide across the wide glass view. He had served for 15 years and trusted patterns more than promises. For weeks, sensors had detected short-range probes vanishing near the outer stations. Each event alone meant little, but together they formed a shape he did not like. He sent reports upward, calm and direct, asking for increased readiness instead of panic. At the Planetary Research Center, Han Yu-Rei stared at streams of data moving across her screen. She was not a soldier, but she understood behavior. Her team studied first contact cases across known space, and what worried her was not what the aliens did, but how carefully they tested limits. Small moves, no messages, no clear threats. That kind of silence often came before something violent. She forwarded her findings to Fleet Command, marking them urgent. The response from High Command was measured. Humans had learned from their past not to strike first without proof. Defensive fleets were repositioned quietly, evacuation drills were reviewed, and civilian networks were hardened. There were no loud announcements, no speeches to inspire fear or pride. Life continued as normal on the surface, even as deep space prepared for trouble. The first attack came without warning. A mining station near the edge of human territory vanished in a burst of light. No survivors, no signal afterward. Within minutes, 3 more stations went silent. The alien coalition expected confusion and delay, but instead they met a system that reacted like a single body. Alerts spread across human space, fleets launched within minutes, and defense grids activated with cold precision. Captain Kang De-il received orders to hold position and observe. His instincts pushed him to act, but he obeyed. He watched as alien ships advanced, their formations confident and open. They fired again, striking an unmanned relay hub, clearly testing how humans would respond. Kang noted the timing, the angles, the gaps in their movement. He sent everything he saw back to command. Across the network, Commander Li Si-jin prepared the first defensive line. She did not shout orders or demand glory. She spoke clearly, assigning tasks and fallback points, making sure every ship knew where to move if things went wrong. To her, the battle was not about winning fast, but about learning the enemy. Every second the humans survived, they gathered more information. When the first clash happened, it surprised the attackers. Human ships did not rush forward or scatter in fear. They absorbed the initial strike, shields bending but holding, and adjusted their formations in small, careful steps. When a human ship was damaged, others moved to cover it without breaking line. The aliens had expected panic. What they saw instead was patience. At the research center, Han Yu-Ra watched the battle data arrive in real time. She noticed how quickly human systems adapted to alien weapons. Power was rerouted, frequencies shifted, and damage patterns analyzed almost instantly. She realized then that humans were not reacting emotionally. They were recording everything. Losses were logged with names, times, and causes. Nothing was forgotten. The alien commanders began to feel uneasy. Their early strikes caused damage, but not collapse. Human resistance grew stronger with each exchange. What worried them most was the lack of communication. Humans did not threaten or beg. They did not declare war. They simply responded, steadily and without pause. As hours turned into a full day, the coalition pushed deeper, expecting humans to break. Instead, supply lines became strained. Small human strike groups targeted fuel carriers and communication ships, then vanished. No victories were announced, but the alien advance slowed. Captain Kong Day finally received permission to engage. His ship moved forward with controlled speed, weapons set to precise output rather than maximum force. His goal was not destruction, but capture of data and position. When his ship scored its first disabling hit, he felt no joy, only focus. This was not anger. This was memory being formed. By the end of the first day, the aliens realized something had gone wrong. Humans were not retreating, and they were not overcommitting. They were holding, adapting, and closing paths of escape one by one. Somewhere in the distant council archives, the old warning waited, still unread by those who needed it most. The war had not truly begun yet, but the humans had already decided something important. Anyone who reached into their space with violence would be remembered. And once remembered, they would never be allowed to simply leave and try again. The alien coalition had expected humans to be frightened and quick to surrender. They believed that small fleets and fast strikes would make humans fold. But what they met was something different. Humans responded slowly, carefully, and with purpose. Every move seemed planned, every decision measured. The aliens began to realize that attacking humans was not like attacking other species. Humans were patient, and patience could be dangerous. Commander Lee So-jin gathered her officers in the command room of the defensive fleet. Maps of the battlefield floated as holograms, showing alien ships and human positions. She spoke calmly and clearly. We do not rush. We observe, we record, we respond. We protect our people and our stations. Do not waste energy chasing victory. Victory will come when we know everything about them. Officers nodded. Every crew member had been trained for rapid adaptation. Even in civilian sectors, people were ready. Evacuations had been practiced, supplies stored, and communication lines strengthened. Every human knew the importance of staying alive and keeping knowledge intact. This was not only a defense strategy, it was a culture. Humans remembered every mistake, every danger, and every enemy. Alien commanders grew frustrated. Their strikes caused damage, but the humans adjusted immediately. The more attacks they launched, the more humans learned. Shields shifted, weapons were rerouted, and coordination between fleets became tighter. The humans did not panic. They analyzed. They recorded. And then they acted in ways the aliens did not expect. Captain Kong Dae-il watched one skirmish from the bridge of his ship. Alien fighters tried to flank his position, but he had predicted the move. He adjusted his ship, and small teams of humans moved to cover all possible angles. The aliens thought they were clever, but humans anticipated. Each movement of the enemy became a lesson for the humans. Each mistake stored for future battles. At the research center, Han Yu noticed a pattern. Humans were not only reacting, they were planning while fighting. Every enemy action became part of a growing database of knowledge. Even failures were recorded. Every ship that was damaged or destroyed contributed to understanding. Humans did not fear loss. They used it. They turned defeat into information, and information into advantage. Alien scouts reported strange phenomena. Humans seemed to know where attacks would come before they happened. They were not using magic or psychic powers, only observation, analysis, and anticipation. Small human drones followed alien ships silently, gathering signals and recording every maneuver. Commanders found themselves trapped not by force, but by understanding. Humans knew their habits, their patterns, and their timing. Commander Lee Se-jin ordered coordinated counterattacks. Each move was precise. Alien ships found themselves delayed, caught off guard, unable to predict human tactics. Humans did not overcommit. They struck only when advantage was certain, then withdrew without chaos. It was a game of patience, but the humans controlled it. The aliens were playing by rules they had not chosen. Captain Kang Dae sent a report to Admiral Choi Sun Woo. The enemy is organized but predictable. They do not understand human patience. Each of their strikes gives us more information. We are learning faster than they are. We are not afraid. We are ready for the next phase. The message was simple, but it carried weight. The humans were calm, focused, and prepared. Their resolve was clear. The aliens tried to change tactics. Faster strikes, stealth approaches, electronic interference. Each adjustment was met with a human response. Engineers in hidden stations rerouted power, repaired systems, and created decoys. Pilots adapted instantly. Every human action was measured, every reaction purposeful. The aliens began to understand that humans did not fight only with weapons. They fought with mind, strategy, and willpower. For the first time, an alien commander admitted fear. They are learning too fast. Every strike we make only teaches them. They adapt. They never panic. They remember. The words were whispered, almost secret. But the meaning was clear. Humans were dangerous in a way the aliens had never faced. They were not the strongest, but they were unyielding. On Earth, civilians continued their routines. Schools, markets, and homes carried on, even under alert. Drills had become second nature. People understood that survival required unity and calm. Scientists worked to support fleets, engineers repaired damaged stations, and every individual contributed to the defense. The human spirit was visible not only in soldiers, but in everyone. The alien coalition realized that quick victory was impossible. Every attempt was countered. Every plan studied and broken. Humans did not seek glory or conquest in these fights. They acted for preservation, memory, and control. If an enemy reached their territory with violence, the humans would respond with focus and purpose that was terrifying to watch. They would never forget, never allow weakness to go unpunished, and never allow escape. Captain Kang Dae led a small team to disable an alien supply convoy. The mission was precise and quiet. His team succeeded without unnecessary risk. Every alien unit that was captured or neutralized became part of the growing intelligence network. Humans did not celebrate. They recorded the event, studied the enemy, and prepared for the next step. Each victory became a lesson for the fleet, a building block for the war that was just beginning. As the sun set over human worlds, Commander Lee Se-jin reviewed the day's actions. Her face was calm, her mind sharp. She knew this was only the start. The aliens had underestimated humans, and now they were learning a lesson that could not be ignored. Humans remembered, humans adapted, and humans never let go. That simple truth was written in every command, every plan, and every life ready to defend itself. By the end of the second day, the alien coalition understood a dangerous reality. Humans did not fight for fear, greed, or honor. They fought to survive and to remember. Each strike was a lesson, each loss a gain. Humans would not surrender, and they would not forget. Once humans had faced an enemy, that enemy could never act with freedom again. The first contact that was supposed to be easy had become a warning, clear and unavoidable. Humans were not only defending their space, they were teaching the galaxy a lesson that would be remembered for generations. The humans were not just defending. They were building a net around the enemy, quietly, without showing all their power at once. Engineer Park Hai-rin worked with a small team in a hidden station, tracing alien command signals and predicting fleet movements. Her calculations were simple yet effective. She did not need fancy tools. She only needed patience, logic, and the ability to see patterns others missed. Each signal she tracked was a step closer to understanding the enemy. Commander Lee Se-jin coordinated the human fleets from the main bridge. Each movement seemed minor, but together they formed an invisible trap. Humans avoided direct confrontation when unnecessary. Instead, they isolated enemy units, cut off supply lines, and forced aliens into corners. Small strikes caused confusion, not chaos. The humans observed the reactions, learned the habits, and slowly tightened the noose. The aliens could not understand why each attack seemed to anticipate their next move. Captain Kang Dae-il led a fleet to intercept a convoy supplying alien forces near the outer rim. The aliens expected a heavy engagement, but the humans used speed, careful timing, and diversion. They disabled the convoy with minimal confrontation. The aliens were surprised, and more importantly, frightened. Each strike left them unsure of what humans would do next. Humans did not waste energy on destruction. They aimed for control and knowledge. On Earth, civilians continued their support. Communications specialists relayed signals, analysts tracked enemy patterns, and logistics teams prepared for prolonged operations. Even children learned evacuation drills and survival strategies, while the military trained to anticipate and adapt. The human race, every part of it, worked as one organism. Each citizen, each soldier, each scientist contributed to the growing network that was the Human Advantage. Park Hai-rin Station received a strange transmission. The aliens had tried to hide their command frequency, but the humans noticed small mistakes. The signals repeated patterns, even when scrambled. Using basic analysis, she discovered their strategy. The aliens moved quickly, but predictably. Humans had learned to anticipate before the first strike even landed. Every alien attack was an opportunity to record, study, and prepare for the next engagement. The alien commanders grew anxious. They had expected chaos and surrender, but humans stayed calm. They adapted, countered, and continued their work without panic. Every failed strike left a new lesson for humans. Every retreating enemy gave humans another chance to understand tactics, weakness, and limits. It was a war fought not only in space, but in the mind. Commander Lee Se-jin sent teams to create simulated scenarios based on observed alien behaviors. Each team ran drills repeatedly, testing human responses and predicting alien moves. They did not waste time with fear. Fear was for those who could not remember, who could not plan. Humans remembered. Every incident, every engagement, every mistake became a permanent part of human strategy. Nothing was wasted, nothing forgotten. In one hidden sector, Captain Kang Dae-il's fleet faced a group of alien fighters. The aliens believed humans would panic under numbers, but they underestimated human discipline. Humans maintained formation, adjusted shields, and communicated constantly. They struck only when advantage was certain, withdrawing before losses could occur. It was not chaos. It was control. And each successful maneuver was added to a growing archive that would guide future battles. Meanwhile, analysts on Earth tracked every movement. Han Yu-ra noticed how human decisions reflected memory, not emotion. Each action accounted for previous events. Humans were patient, but precise. They remembered each loss, each alien tactic, and adjusted accordingly. The enemy found themselves trapped, not by sheer force, but by human foresight. Every attempt to escape only tightened the human grip. The aliens attempted feints and decoys, trying to lure humans into traps. But humans rarely fell for deception. They observed carefully, tested assumptions, and acted only when certain. Engineer Park Hai-Rin's network predicted decoy patterns, signaling fleets to avoid the traps. Humans did not need speed or power alone. They needed understanding, patience, and discipline, and they had them in abundance. Captain Kang Dae-il realized the enemy was beginning to fear them. He reported to Commander Lee Se-jin, "They do not know how to act. Each move we make teaches them they are predictable. Each strike builds our advantage." Commander Lee nodded. The humans did not celebrate victories. They studied them. Each action contributed to the growing web that would eventually control the conflict dot in the skies over human worlds. Fleets moved with silent coordination. Alien commanders could not track them fully. Humans used simple strategies, basic tactics, and patient observation to dominate. They did not need to destroy everything. They only needed to ensure the enemy could not act freely. Every alien ship disabled, every supply line cut, every captured communication was another thread in the net that held the coalition dot by the end of the third week. The aliens understood the warning was not empty. Humans did not fight only for survival. They fought for memory, strategy, and control. The net was closing. Aliens could retreat, but even that brought consequences. Humans were relentless, precise, and patient. They did not celebrate hate, but they did not forgive mistakes. Once humans knew the enemy could not hide, could not act freely, and could not escape dot in the command center. Commander Lee Se-jin looked at the galactic map and saw the results of careful planning. Humans had isolated alien fleets, cut off key points, and created a strong advantage without a single reckless strike. Captain Kang Dae-il's teams had executed missions perfectly. Engineer Park Hai-Rin's systems predicted almost every move. Humanity had turned its patience into a weapon, and the aliens were trapped without realizing it. The aliens began to communicate among themselves in whispers, worried about each other. They adapt too fast. Every strike we make teaches them. They never panic. They never forget. Simple words, but full of fear. The humans were not just defending. They were preparing for everything that would come next. And as long as the aliens continued their attacks, the humans only grew. Stronger, smarter, and more in control. The web was tightening, and there was no escape. The aliens believed they could retreat, regroup, and attack again. They had assumed humans would tire, would become careless, or would allow a chance to escape. But humans did not operate on emotion or fear. They operated on memory, strategy, and careful observation. Every move the aliens made was tracked, recorded, and studied. They were not simply fighting humans. They were trapped by humans who never forgot. Admiral Choi Sun-woo commanded the fleet from the main space station orbiting Earth. His orders were precise: pursue, contain, and ensure no alien force could rise again. The humans did not seek total destruction, only permanent control over threats. Their goal was not revenge, but certainty. Once the enemy reached human space, they would never leave without human knowledge and supervision. Any attempt to run was met with immediate interception. Captain Kang Dae-il led a strike force against a small alien group attempting to escape through a hidden wormhole. The aliens believed they had found a safe route, but humans anticipated the move. Kang's fleet intercepted them with careful coordination. They did not destroy everything. They disabled engines, cut off communications, and contained the ships. Alien pilots were captured or forced to surrender. Every action was deliberate. Humans did not fight blindly. They used strategy, patience, and memory. On Earth, Han Yu analyzed battle records. Every alien ship's movement, every tactic used, was logged in a growing archive. She noticed the enemy's behavior became more cautious, more predictable, and more fearful. Humans did not celebrate. They recorded, planned, and prepared. Each alien action gave humans more information for the next engagement. Memory was their weapon, patience their armor. Commander Lee Se-jin coordinated fleet movements with calm precision. Humans pursued retreating aliens without haste. They used small teams, diversion tactics, and controlled strikes. The aliens attempted to hide, but every escape route was anticipated. The humans created a network across space that made retreat impossible. They did not need overwhelming firepower. They needed discipline, understanding, and careful planning. Engineer Park Hae-rin monitored communications between alien units. She noticed hesitation and confusion. The enemy tried to change tactics, but humans were always one step ahead. Systems predicted patterns, movements, and strategies. Every alien signal was studied, and every prediction checked. Humans did not waste energy with panic or anger. They focused on memory, preparation, and control. They turned fear of humans into reality for the enemy. Small alien commanders whispered warnings to each other. They never forget. Each mistake we make becomes ours forever. We cannot retreat. They follow us and watch us. We cannot hide. Simple words, but the meaning was heavy. Humans were relentless, but not reckless. Every step the aliens took only tightened the human grip. Humans did not seek blood for its own sake. They sought certainty. They ensured no enemy would rise again without human knowledge. Captain Kang Dae-il's team captured a group of alien engineers attempting to repair a crippled ship. The aliens were surprised by the restraint of the humans. They expected violence and chaos. Instead, the humans offered a choice: surrender and be studied, or attempt escape and be trapped again. Every alien realized the truth. Humans did not need to destroy. They only needed to ensure the enemy could not act freely ever again. Across Earth in the human fleet, civilians continued to support the war effort. Communications, analysis, repair, and logistics operated smoothly. Life went on above and below the surface. This unity made the human race more powerful than any weapon. Humans were not only fighting for survival in space, they were ensuring that memory, strategy, and caution shaped every response. This was why no alien could escape them once caught. Commander Lee Se-jin led an operation to contain a larger alien fleet near a remote asteroid field. The aliens expected a chaotic engagement, but met organized precision. Humans blocked exits, created decoy traps, and disabled ships with minimal risk. The fleet did not overcommit, did not celebrate victories, and recorded every detail. The aliens were trapped not by numbers alone, but by human understanding and relentless patience. Escape was impossible. Captain Kang Dae-il reported to Admiral Choi Sun-woo, "We have contained the retreating forces. Every move they make is observed, recorded, and neutralized." They understand now that humans do not just fight. Humans follow. Humans remember. They cannot escape. Admiral Choi nodded silently. Humans did not boast. They did not need to. Their results spoke clearly. Once an enemy entered human space, they could never leave without human oversight. Han Yu-rae studied the captured alien communications. The messages were filled with confusion, fear, and respect. Humans had not forced this recognition with violence alone. They had forced it with knowledge, memory, and unwavering resolve. Every alien now understood the warning that had once been ignored. Humans do not forget. Humans do not release their enemies without consequence. And humans do not forgive easily. As humans tightened control, the aliens became more cautious, fearful, and predictable. Their mistakes grew smaller, but humans anticipated each one. Every attempt to escape only confirmed the humans' understanding of the enemy. Humans did not need to destroy fleets or worlds to win. They only needed to ensure that no threat could rise without human memory and attention. That alone was enough to control even the most determined opponents. The war was not over, but humans had already achieved something remarkable. They had transformed simple defense into an unstoppable system of containment. They had made the enemy fear memory more than fire. Every human action was purposeful, and every alien reaction only made the human strategy stronger. Once humans held the enemy, they would never let go. And the aliens knew it. The humans had won without needing to destroy every enemy. They had used memory, patience, and strategy to make certain no alien could rise freely again. Captured commanders and surviving fleets learned the lesson clearly. Humans did not act out of anger, nor did they seek endless revenge. They acted out of certainty, control, and understanding. Once humans held an enemy, that enemy could not escape without human knowledge and supervision. Admiral Choi, Sun Wu oversaw the final containment operations. The alien fleets were scattered, supplies cut off, and escape routes closed. Humans had established guardianship zones over former enemy bases. Captured aliens were given strict terms. They could live, but only under human observation. Any attempt to rebuild fleets or coordinate attacks would be met immediately. Humans had not destroyed the aliens entirely, but they had ensured that the warning was real and permanent. Captain Kang Dae-il led a final patrol of the remaining alien forces. He moved slowly and carefully. No unnecessary aggression. Every ship he encountered was contained, communications monitored, and movements logged. The aliens realized that humans did not need to fight to win. Observation, patience, and memory were enough. They could surrender, be studied, and live under supervision, or attempt escape and be caught again. The choice was theirs, but the humans controlled the consequences. Han Yu-Ra studied the aliens' reactions and noted a change. Fear had replaced arrogance. Even those who had been bold now acted cautiously. Every message transmitted between alien units was filtered, every plan adjusted. They had learned that humans never forgot, never overlooked mistakes, and never allowed freedom to return to those who had attacked them. The warning that was once ignored was now visible in every alien action. Commander Lee Se-jin coordinated the final operations with calm precision. Humans were everywhere, present but not overwhelming. They did not crush the enemy in anger, but they controlled every important point. Supply routes, communication networks, and fleet movements were all under human observation. The aliens could not act freely. They could move, but each move was anticipated and studied. Humans did not just fight battles. They controlled the future. Engineer Park Hai-rin monitored signals and networks to ensure complete containment. Every alien command, every attempt to communicate, and every minor maneuver was recorded. The humans created a web of control that was simple in concept but strong in effect. Memory, observation, and patience had become the deadliest weapons. Humans did not need to destroy ships or worlds. They only needed to hold information and enforce consequences. The aliens began to understand the full meaning of the warning. Humans did not release enemies lightly. They did not act in fury, but in purpose. Once humans had contact with an enemy, that enemy could never act without human oversight. The captured commanders warned their peers. The lesson spread quickly. Humans were patient, memory-driven, and relentless. They did not seek glory, only certainty. To humans, survival, knowledge, and control were the same thing. In time, the Galactic Council acknowledged what humans had accomplished. The warning, once ignored, was now public. Every species could see that humans did not fight like others. Humans did not strike for pride, greed, or anger. They struck for memory, strategy, and permanence. Once humans held you, they never let go. The message spread across star systems. Humans were not monsters, nor heroes. They were a force of unyielding will. Life on Earth and among human fleets continued normally. Humans did not celebrate destruction, but they studied every event. Lessons were learned, strategies refined, and citizens trained for the next challenge. The human race had proven something important. Survival was not only about strength or numbers. It was about unity, patience, and memory. Even as the galaxy observed in awe, humans quietly continued their work, knowing that they had changed the rules of engagement forever. Captain Kang Day looked at the stars from his ship. The battle was over, but the lesson would last. Humans had shown that they were patient, precise, and unyielding. Commander Lee Se-jin reviewed the map of controlled zones. Every captured fleet, every neutralized base, every monitored alien movement was proof that humans did not release their enemies lightly. Admiral Choi Sun-woo nodded in agreement. They had fought wisely, not recklessly. The galaxy had learned that humans were not just another species. They were a memory that could not be ignored. Han Yu-ra smiled quietly. She had tracked every step, every reaction, and every signal. The humans had done what many thought impossible. They had won without chaos, without anger, and without needless bloodshed. They had only used patience, memory, and careful planning. The aliens would never forget humans, and humans would never forget the lessons of each engagement. The warning had been real, and it had been proved. Do not attack humans, because once they hold you, they will never let you go. And across the galaxy, the story of humans spread. Alien civilizations taught their young not as a tale of fear, but as a lesson of unyielding will, unity, and memory. The humans had not conquered the galaxy, but they had earned its attention and respect. The warning remained true, clear, and simple. Humans do not forget. Humans do not forgive easily. Once humans have grasped you, you are never free again. And that truth would last forever.